My name is Dylan, and the story I'm going to share with you happened in a bathroom. It may sound crazy, but it was totally scary. It was a Saturday. I was working the night shift, and as usual, the company was practically empty. It was usually a quiet night, with little work, so I usually spent my time reading books or comics. The company has 2 floors, the security guards are on the ground floor, and I was alone on the second floor. It was completely silent. I went to the bathroom, and when I approached the door, I heard loud footsteps coming from inside. I thought it might be a security guard using the bathroom, so I went in. Surprisingly, there was no one inside. The bathroom is not big and there are not many places to hide. I thought it was strange, but I thought maybe someone was in one of the stalls. I asked out loud, but got no answer. The feeling that someone was there did not diminish. So I decided to crouch down and look under the stall doors. There was no one there. I was intrigued, but I tried to convince myself that it was just my imagination. I went into one of the stalls, sat on the toilet, and grabbed my phone to check my social media. That's when I heard the door of one of the stalls open. I was startled. Soon after, whistling noises started coming from the bathroom. I decided to leave the stall to see who was there, but to my surprise, there was no one there. It was impossible for someone to have left without making a noise. I quickly washed my hands and decided to leave the bathroom, because the situation was very strange. As I was about to open the door to leave, I heard the sound of a flush coming from the stall where I was. At that moment, I ran out and called security. No one found anything, and since then, I have avoided using that bathroom at night. Hello everyone, my name is Gavin. I'm going to tell you something that happened to me that I still can't explain. I was in a motel, planning to spend the night there and then travel to my parents' house the next morning. The room was very cozy, with a clean bathroom, so I thought it would be a peaceful night. I ended up falling asleep, but I was woken up in the middle of the night by a noise coming from the bathroom. I thought it was strange, but I went to check. There was nothing there. I checked the entire bathroom and the bedroom, but I didn't find anything out of the ordinary. Convinced that it might have been a dream, I went back to bed. As soon as I fell asleep again, the same noise came from the bathroom again. I went to check again, but again there was nothing. I decided to stay in the room for a while to see if the noise would continue, but it stopped. So I decided to leave the bathroom door open before going back to sleep. The next morning, I woke up and noticed that the bathroom door was closed. I was sure I had left it open, but now it was locked. I thought someone might be inside, which made me apprehensive. I called the manager, who came with a master key to open the door. When he opened it, there was no one inside. Neither the manager nor I could understand what had happened. We argued a little, but he couldn't explain either. I left there scared and confused. I'm Hayden, and today I'm going to tell you about my contact with the supernatural. I've never believed in these things. To me, they were just stories that people made up or were just figments of my imagination. It was a normal day, except for the intense cold. When it got dark, I went straight to bed. In the middle of the night, I woke up to the sound of the bathroom faucet running. This was impossible, because I never forget to turn the faucet on, and I live alone. I thought a pipe had broken, but when I got to the bathroom, I turned the faucet off normally. I laughed, thinking that it was the first time I'd ever left the faucet on, and I joked to myself that it was just my age. I went back to bed, but soon I heard the faucet turn on again. I ran to the bathroom, imagining that someone was in my house. There was no one. I searched the whole house, looked in every corner, even under the bed, but I couldn't find anyone. I kept thinking that there might be a problem with the faucet, but it seemed normal. As I pondered what could be happening, the bathroom door slammed shut with me inside. My heart raced. I quickly opened the door and, not knowing what to do, all I could think of was the supernatural. Even though I didn't believe in such things, it was the only explanation that came to mind. I ran to my room and began to pray, asking for whatever was there to go away. I decided to go to the bathroom again. Everything seemed to be normal. I locked the bedroom door and tried to sleep, but I couldn't. The noise in the bathroom continued, doors slamming, faucets running, toiletries falling on the floor. I went to the bathroom door and saw all of this happening. I gathered up my courage and went into the bathroom to pray. Even though I didn't believe in the supernatural, I believed in God. I closed my eyes and began to pray. When I opened my eyes and looked in the mirror, I saw a completely pale man in the bathroom doorway, staring at me. I almost fainted, but when I turned to look directly at him, he was no longer there. I spent the night awake, unable to sleep, thinking about it. The next day, I called someone to come to my house to try to remove whatever was in that bathroom. "Hello, my name is Ethan, and I'm going to tell you something that happened to me, something that I'll never forget." I was traveling for work and stayed in an old hotel, one of those with classic decor and retro charm. After a long day, I went back to my room and decided to take a relaxing bath. While the tub was filling up, I took the opportunity to look at myself in the mirror, thinking about how tired I was. It was then that I noticed something strange. The mirror seemed foggy, as if someone had breathed deeply near it. I thought that was strange, because the room was cold and I hadn't turned on the hot shower yet. I tried to clean the mirror, but the fog wouldn't come off. Suddenly, I saw a silhouette form behind me in the reflection. I turned around quickly, but there was no one there. I looked back at the mirror and the silhouette was still there, more defined now, with the features of a woman with long hair. She seemed to be staring at me. I jumped away from the mirror, my heart racing. I was alone in the room, so I decided to check if the door was locked and checked all the windows. Everything was safe. I tried to rationalize it, telling myself it was just my imagination playing tricks. I went back to the bathroom, determined to ignore what I had seen. While I was showering, I heard a faint whisper, almost like a whisper, coming from behind me. I glanced at the steam-fogged mirror and saw the word "help" written on the surface. I was so startled that I jumped out of the tub immediately, slipping on the floor. When I looked again, the word had disappeared, and the mirror was completely clean. I decided that I had had enough for one night. I dried myself quickly and got dressed. I spent the rest of the night unable to sleep, staring at the bathroom door, waiting for something else to happen. In the morning, I reported the incident to the hotel management, but they were unable to explain what could have happened. Since then, I have avoided mirrors in unfamiliar places, always afraid of what I might see in them. Hi, I'm Ryan, and I have a scary story to share. I've never been much of a believer in ghosts, but after this experience, I'm starting to have doubts. I was staying at an old bed and breakfast while on vacation. The place was charming, with a cozy atmosphere. After a day of exploring the city, I returned to my room, exhausted. I decided to take a shower before bed to relax. While I was taking a shower, I felt a strange change in the temperature of the room. The water suddenly became cold, as if someone had tampered with the shower control. I looked around, trying to figure out what was happening, but I didn't see anything out of the ordinary. I adjusted the water temperature again and continued showering, thinking it was just a faulty heating system. After my shower, I was drying off when I heard footsteps in the room. I assumed it was a guest or a staff member at the bed and breakfast, but then I remembered that I had locked the door. I left the bathroom and looked into the room, but I didn't see anyone. I went to check the door, and it was locked, just as I had left it. I went back to the bathroom, but just as I was about to leave, the door slammed shut behind me, locking me inside. The shock paralyzed me for a moment. I tried to open the door, but it was stuck, as if someone was holding it from the other side. I started banging on the door, calling for help, but no one answered. Suddenly, the lights started flickering, and I felt a strange presence in the bathroom, as if I were being watched. It was then that I saw in the mirror something I will never forget, a hazy figure, shaped like a man, standing behind me. He had no face, just a dark shadow where his eyes should have been. My first reaction was to close my eyes and pray that it was just my imagination. When I opened my eyes again, the figure had disappeared, and the door opened by itself. I hurried out of the bathroom and went straight to the reception, where I explained what had happened. The clerk, with a worried look, told me that I wasn't the first to report something strange in that room. I decided to leave the bed and breakfast that night, without sleeping. I spent the rest of the trip wondering what that figure could have been and whether I had really had an encounter with the supernatural. Since then, I have always been on the lookout for any sign of strange activity, especially in ancient places.